Paprika Max.
Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds, where, as you just saw, Ez was the last one in. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to what has to be the best weekend ever. Well, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm really, really pleased with what's happened. Forest have won. Spurs have lost. Man U have lost. Derby lost in the last second after winning, although it was against that plucky team. Yeah, I don't know. If Carling did weekends. Oh, he's back. Our little friend's back, guys. He was in the watch along yesterday. Yo, chat. Say hi to our little B in there. The poor guy, all on his own. You gotta feel sorry for him, man. All on his own.
Kudos for turning up. I don't know about lucky, but kudos for turning up.
Shout out to BFC representing basically the whole of his fan base. Anyway, oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I had a nap in that second half of the Spurs game. So yeah, it's on me that we're late. Hope you guys in the chat are doing well. Forest of 4th. Thank you so much for 22K as well, you guys. Legends have like blown past it as well. So keep subscribing if you're new here. Make sure you've hit the like. And it's not Grumpy Old Reds tonight, boys. Honestly, it's Happy Old Reds. Even Rob's got to be happy, surely. What?
Why even me? I'm always happy.
You just come across as generally like grumpy, mate.
He's got his lucky hat on. He's all right.
Yeah. He's got that look of. Chat, would you say Rob is glass half empty or half full? Should we do a poll on that?
Rob, if you didn't cancel the winter fuel payment, you wouldn't have to be wearing that hat right now. So I don't feel
worried. Don't blame me for that. That was the robot summer.
Is Rob a glass half full, half empty kind of guy? All right, let's see what you guys
I'll switch it for this picture. Look.
That was David Mitchell. Like you, why you got a picture of David Mitchell on there?
It looks like him, isn't it? It looks like him.
He looks like a German David Mitchell.
Yeah. Anyway, we got a lot to talk
be careful about with Rob, because people in the comments keep saying that, stop picking on poor little Rob, like he can't defend himself.
That's true.
But we bully Rob. It's the only reason he's here. We force him here. I was like, Rob, you must be on. Anyway, right. I want to start today off. Right, this is a happy clapper stream today. It's been a year to roughly the day that Nuno took over. What a year it's been. I feel like we need to open the stream praising the great man himself for what he's done in this year so far. We'll come on to the game, but honestly, I think it's more important that we start with Nuno, because I got a lot of crap for saying Cooper out. Those lot have gone all silent on me. Nuno's come in, backed him, loved what he's doing. There's people when Nuno came in saying, I haven't seen the difference from him to Cooper and all this stuff. I assume now the majority of the fan base is behind what he's doing. But can we just take like a few minutes just to reflect on the job Nuno's doing? And chat, what are your thoughts on Nuno now? Let's kick us off, mate. It's been 12 months of Nuno. What have you made of it?
Well, it started off well, didn't it? I mean, with those early results that we got,
apart from the loss, but I give it.
Well, it started off with a loss, but the performance was good, and we got robbed. We clearly got robbed with a sending off in that game, but changed that game, and obviously, Solanke had a field day. But the early results, and then that little bad spell we had purely down to AFCON and the plays that we were missing during that time. It kind of made it difficult, but he got through it, and we stayed up last season against all the odds. And I don't think he got the due credit for that, because to come in and organize the team the way he wanted to and get the best out of the players that we had at the time, it took a lot of doing. And he's coming in mid-season and doing that. That's no easy task. So I don't think he got the due respect that he deserved for keeping us up last season. But going into the summer, and obviously the recruitment we've had, the backing he's had from Marinakis, and the vision that he's putting into place, we're seeing the fruitfulness of now. And you cannot overlook what he did at Wolverhampton those few seasons, His legacy seems to be down to that 10-game spell at Spurs, but everyone's forgetting the 2 or 3 years that he did leading up to that, to get him that opportunity. So Nuno is a manager that I think he came back to the Premier League with some, let's say, unfinished business, and he's come back to prove something as well. And I think we're really lucky. He's one of the best managers in the league, without a doubt. And I think a lot of these new managers, actually, and there's a couple of others to praise, but we're on Nuno, so let's stick to Nuno. But these new managers that have come in and have upset the apple cart, like Forest, look at Bournemouth as well. Look at what their managers achieved. We're lucky to have who we've got, and I've got to say he's not been given the respect from the other fan bases, and not even until recently, even in our own fan base, recently. So give him his flowers, and he's more than overdue those flowers. So 100% respect to and in a year to achieve what he's achieved so far, and we're still going forward. So I'm loving it, mate.
Well, let's go over to Sir Ant, right? Because now that you're part of BBC's payroll. I think, and shout out to you and shout out to Ez and shout out to Laurie as well. She's in the chat. She doesn't talk to us anymore. She feels she's too important now. But it'd be fair to say you've had a few up and down moments with Nuno. I think even on here, there's been a couple of Nuno outcries with you in the odd occasion over the last year. Never like angry Nuno out like he sometimes got with Cooper. But what have you guys say about him, man? I think if anyone, you've probably been the most negative on Nuno over the last 12 months out of the panel.
I would say so. But just before I get on to that, I just want to point out this Nuno record. He did a brilliant job at Wolves. I think most people, even outside Forest, would agree with that. Even the Wolves fans will agree with that. He did a great job after he left Spurs. He went on and. Okay, it's a shit league, but he won the Saudi league.
Whoa. Are we still
swearing
or not? What's going on there?
Swearing or not?
Or is he just off the bat gone?
Sorry, did I slip one out there, as it were? I apologize.
Stop him.
Yeah, I know it's a merde league.
I can't find a different word.
It's the same word.
Yeah, but it's French, so nobody understands it, do they? I'm okay, I get away with that. But nevertheless, he won it. If you're whatever league you're gonna be in, you want to win it. So he won that. The only criticism I hear of Nuno, really, regarding his record, is the Spurs stint. And people forget he won manager. He was there for 2 months. He won Manager of the Month in his first stint. And the simple fact is, nobody at Spurs, including the board, the fans, the tea lady, wanted Nuno there. So they were waiting. First chance they got. I mean, look at Postecoglou. Look at his results, and he's still there. Nuno didn't have results like that. So
Nuno had a better start than Ange did. If you compare this season to Nuno's first season,
absolutely. I think that he gets tarnished with that brush, and I really don't know why. Right. So that's that. I was probably the most negative because I felt he was a and he is a kind of defensive manager. But there's defensive managers like Cooper, and then there's defensive managers like Nuno. And the quality of play and the results you can get with those two contrasting styles. He doesn't low block like Nuno, like Cooper did. So, yes, I was a little bit doubtful. And there have been times when I've been frustrated, particularly in the past when he's picked like Yates over Dominguez and we've gone on to lose the game or something. But, I'm a Forest fan. I'm a fan, so I overreact. I think that's perfectly acceptable behaviour. But now I wouldn't swap him for any. I wouldn't swap him for anybody. I think he's doing. I think he gets the club. Everybody said Cooper got the club. I think Nuno gets the club.
God, I hate that line, man. Oh,
really, but what I mean by that is he's not coming and trying to turn us into Real Madrid like Ange's done at Tottenham. I'm sorry to refer to them again, but it's an obvious example. He's gone in there and tried to turn them into Real Madrid, and they're not Real Madrid. What Nuno's done, he's come in, he's assessed the situation, he's thought, which is the best way I can get this club moving forward? And I think he can't have done much better, can he? So 100% behind Nuno, full praise for the guy, and I just hope we can carry on. And I believe we can carry on with him at the helm. I think he's a good manager, really good manager at Premier League level.
And he's got such a good beard. Honestly, I can't get over how well
he's got a wonderful beard, and I like the way he talks. He's very smiley, very open, but he doesn't take any merde from anybody. So I like the guy, and long may it continue.
Ben, I remember a lot of people told us when we were Cooper out, careful what you wish for. Are you now regretting what you wished for, mate?
I mean, one of them sat on the panel tonight.
Did he say that? I don't think he said that. I don't think he said that.
He said worse stuff than that.
There are other people on YouTube that were saying it.
Victor, I'm about to go after you, so anything you make up now, I will rebut.
Don't worry, I've got to come back. Don't worry. Look, everyone was slating us when we were saying get Cooper out. The thing people didn't realize, and they still don't realize, I always see it mentioned all over Twitter, is that we have a lot of respect for Cooper for what he did. Cooper got us into the Premier League, and everybody respects that. But it was clear to see that he was not the manager to take us through the Premier League. He was too defensive. Nuno is the complete opposite. And one thing that I
complete attacking.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's not complete attacking, but he's not massively low block. And I tell you, one of the things that's really helped him this season, and we'll get onto it later, is Milenkovic moving his line forward. Because sometimes you do see them go into a bit of a low block, but you can see Milenkovic pushing and screaming at people to move that line forward. And that has been a huge, huge difference this season. But look, Nuno's nothing like Cooper was. He's not scared. Cooper, to me, was scared of the league. I think I was saying to Ez yesterday, Cooper had a mentality of saying, we're in the Premier League to try and survive. Nuno's mentality is we're in the Premier League to try and do something, whether that's Europe or whatever it may be. It's a different type of mentality, and that will pass down onto the players. And we saw Morgan Gibbs-White say in an interview the other day that this is the best football dressing room he's ever been in. Well, that starts with the manager. It starts with the manager. We know the players have got respect for him, and we obviously know that they like playing for him. So I think he's done an absolutely brilliant job, and it'll be really exciting to see how the second half of the season goes.
Christian said, that's very cool. I wanted Nuno fired earlier in the season. True. And Wolfie was on his back for his subs. Rightly so, I would say. That's long forgotten, I guess. No. Like getting on his back for the subs doesn't mean I want him sacked, mate. Like, and can't defend himself. You're right on that.
Not only that, you can be right in the past, but change your opinion.
Well,
True.
yeah,
True.
And
I mean, when we got promoted, for example, my biggest fear was that Cooper wouldn't sign a new contract. I was panicking like mad. Well, you know,
remind me why we have you on here.
On reflection, I could change my mind.
Just before I come to Rob, shout out to Nick A with the 17 months. Thank you so much, Nick A. And Jolly Ollie with the 20 months as well. Absolutely. Jolly Ollie. I haven't seen Jolly Ollie for ages. Hope he's doing well. Right, before I come to Rob, just something because I probably will forget later. I spoke to the club. Morgan Gibbs-White is not suspended for the Spurs game, okay? Because he had his red card, that technically resets it. So Morgan Gibbs-White will not be suspended for the Spurs game. Breaking news there, but I knew I'd forget. Rob, I've saved you to last on purpose because as Si mentioned in the comments, you kind of made your debut defending Cooper and saying I'd go down with Cooper and all this stuff, yeah? What are you saying, bro, on Nuno?
I don't know why we have to make a celebration of Nuno all about Cooper, right? I think that some of you guys are maybe a little bit more obsessed with him than I am.
Rob, I will interrupt you there because you don't see the crap that I had to take, the rest of the guys had to take about when it's blindingly obvious Cooper couldn't do it. Yeah, there's been no apologies for it. There's been silence, but no apologies, right? On it.
Wait, when do you apologize to anybody? You never apologize to anybody.
When I'm wrong, let me know and I'll apologize.
Yeah, that sets him up, Rob. You knew what he was going to answer to that.
Right. Okay,
we're always right, Rob, so we can't really apologize.
That is the caveat, Rob. That is the caveat. So
I made my defense of Cooper before he took 1 point from 7 games. And by the end of that, I was as ready as the rest of you to make that change. All right.
Yeah. Come on, then. Let's move on from Cooper.
In terms of Nuno himself, I think a few of us were still a bit undecided because survival was so, I don't know. It looked dodgy at one point when we lost that game at Everton with those 3 appeals for penalties turned down, and Luton were picking up points, Burnley were picking up points. It was squeaky bum time, and I think that that coloured things a little bit. And I think Ant and I basically said at the end of the season, look, if you're going to make the change, make it now. So whoever gets the pre-season. But I don't think we ever wanted him out. But I think what I would say is that for the second half of last season, our performances, our gameplay was a lot better than our results, right? I mean, we lost 3-2 8 times last season. We surrendered more points from winning positions than any other team. We conceded more goals from set pieces than any other team. And, you know, all that it required was a little bit of reorganization in the summer and a couple of signings, Milenkovic and Anderson. And actually, now the results match the performances. So fair play to him. And also, if you look at who we've got on the bench now, it's a hell of a lot better than what we had at the end of last season. Like bringing on Reina and Origi is not going to make any impact on any game. So fair play to Nuno. He's had his summer. We said give him the preseason. The signings he's made have been absolutely impeccable. He's got the best out of those players. And it turns out that we weren't a bad side after all. Even last year, we weren't far off a good side. So, you know, so it only just took a few little things, a few little bits of reorganization. Now we are the best in the league at defending corners, and we score a few goals from corners.
That's actually true, Rob. Sorry to interrupt, because I know we were. Are we still?
We haven't let in a goal from a corner this season.
0.
One. Yeah, we have one, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
We let one.
Yeah,
We
we
let
have.
When was that?
Yeah, we have.
One, I think.
Was it
I think
Newcastle?
Yeah,
Newcastle?
it's just that one, but it is. We have
Which
at
one was
least
it?
conceded one. Newcastle.
Was
game,
it
wasn't
direct
Was
from the
it?
corner, or did he get headed out and then?
Was it?
No,
I think it was the second ball. I don't know if
remember.
it counts.
It was,
Yeah,
it was
I think
definitely
you
a
might
set
be
piece
right.
goal. It was definitely a set piece goal.
The chat has spoken. It was against Newcastle. It was against
Newcastle, yeah,
Newcastle.
that's it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rob.
Just, I
But no,
just want to
still,
throw
what
one.
I'm saying is we weren't far off being a good team last year.
But
it
am
was
I right
actually
in saying then, Rob? Sorry to interrupt, but that my original point that he didn't really get the praise that for keeping us up last season, because that wasn't an easy task, and with points deductions and everything else that went around it, the players that we lost in January that didn't really come back into form, with all that against him, for him to achieve what he did. Okay, we only just stayed up. I think that was downplayed by too many fans, and like I've alluded to as well, it's taken a while for the Forest fans to actually get behind him. But if you look at his record and look what he's done in the past, going back to what Ant said as well, they're just judging him on that second half of that period with Spurs. But everything leading up to that, he's a quality manager, and I think we're really, really lucky to get him. But the point for me is, I think, just to go back onto what Crypto was saying about the mentality, it's not just a mentality that I've seen. He's had a vision, and he's putting that vision into place. On Saturday, we saw a different formation, and we'll talk about it. But he's progressive, and now we've got more than one way of playing. We've had a few ways of playing this season as well, without a number 10 at stages, you know. So he's experimenting, and we're not getting away with things. Yesterday was one of the most comfortable performances
100%.
I've witnessed for a long, long time. And let's get into it. Let's get into the game.
Well, Rob hasn't finished. Go on, Rob.
Well, I wasn't that comfortable yesterday. But no, just to say
Were
how
you
it all
not?
started, a year ago, I went to the 3-2 at home with Bournemouth, and I was right behind Matt Turner's goal on
don't say
93
that, man.
minutes. On
No, that
93
name.
minutes, when Solanke scored on 93 minutes after Willy Bolly had been unjustly sent off, and that goal went in on 93 minutes. And I'm thinking, right, this is our new manager. We'd all been so excited and hopeful, and then that happens, and I just thought, I'm never going again. And then here we are a year later. Mind you, how many times have we thought that, right? If you've never left the City ground thinking, I'm never going again, then you haven't been through.
And you've never been, yeah.
Yeah. So, but considering that was the start, and then he turned it around and beat Newcastle and Man U straight after that, what a legend. What a legend. Honestly, he's already a legendary Forest manager as far as I'm concerned, with even just one season under his belt. Yeah,
Really?
I think so. Oh, to take us from scrapping for survival to look,
Season's
You're
not
saying that at
over,
the
Bert.
halfway stage of a season, though.
Yeah.
Out
It's
of
a
the
mod-
last,
it's a
out
modern,
of the
it's a
last
modern
25
phenomenon.
years.
It's a modern phenomenon, blowing up managers, players,
Oh, come on.
side. No,
Well, I
it
do
is.
have- I do have a
I saw
question
a
on it.
legendary manager, mate. That was a legendary manager.
Did you say
Who?
You
Cloughy?
know what I'm saying? I mean, I watched Goldbridge the other day, and someone said, "Do you think Bruno's a Man United legend?" And to be fair to Goldbridge, he went absolutely crazy, calling them F's and C's and T's and all sorts, saying you don't know what you're obviously a very young fan because you don't know what a legend is. And this word legendary and stuff like that gets thrown about all over the place these days. It's
For
too
me,
easy
the
to become a
two
legend.
would go Cloughy, even now as a baby in his time, and then for me, still Frank Clark's number 2.
No, mate. Frank Clark, no.
Who's number 2 then?
Who are you
Who's
saying?
number
Frank
These are the
Clark
number
was
two.
promoted.
We have had one legendary manager. That's Brian Clough.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the hierarchy for me.
Yeah.
Go
Oh
Cloughy,
yeah,
then Frank
he's
Clark.
second to me
And-
at the moment.
yeah.
He's second. Oh yes.
And can we reframe it? Can we reframe it? Okay, so there's legendary in terms of other clubs would view them as legendary, like Ferguson or Wenger or Clough, right? But then there's what we might consider internally within the Forest community.
No,
as
but
being
our
legendary.
standards would be higher because Cloughy won the European trophies
All right,
and the
okay, so you
league.
think you have to win 2 European Cups to be a
You have
top
to win a
Forest?
league or a Champions League or
Look,
something.
But,
Not
let me
just,
just
not just
look
finish
at the-
somewhere
look at
in the
the
table.
crap.
That's
look
not
at the
good enough.
junk we've had over the last 25 years.
Yeah, but
Steve
Rob, if you
Cotterill,
were my
Gary
age or
Maxson,
Ben's age,
Material.
no, he's got a point, but not to himself. If you're my age or Ben's age, right? Okay, let's go more towards Ben. If Ben hadn't seen, well, Ben, your first manager would have been what? Like, I don't know, Crank?
1997. I can't remember.
97. So you're looking at, was that Harry Bassett around
That's
that time?
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're looking at Bassett. So you wouldn't have seen Cloughy or Clarkey, right?
Mm.
So
No.
if a person from that generation were to say Nuno's a legend or Cooper's a legend,
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say Cooper is a legend to me because Cooper is the first one to get us
Got us
promoted into the
promoted.
Premier League for a very long time.
no, but Ant, you're
We've had
missing the
loads of
point.
managers
You're missing
get
the point, Ant.
promoted.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
You're
but for
wrong.
me, I
Because
said
that's
for
what
me.
he's seen.
For me,
It's what he's
Yeah.
seen.
for
That
me,
doesn't make
Steve,
the guy a legend, then, does it?
it does
No,
to
but
me.
you got to say generationally, people are going to see
It
things
makes him his
differently. aren't
favourite
they?
manager at Forest, not a
No, he's
legend.
not my favorite. Hang on a sec. He's not my favorite manager. Nuno's my favorite manager. Steve Cooper is not my favorite.
How are we
manager.
arguing?
However, Steve
This
Cooper is
must
a
be a
legend.
happy clapper stream.
Because Rob
For what
started
Steve
this
Cooper did.
argument.
Bearing in mind,
So
I've never seen.
let
I've
me
never
just
seen us in
finish
the
it off
Premier
by
League.
saying a legend achieves greatness above and would be expected at your club.
Yeah, but Steve Cooper did do
Somebody
that.
like
All right, wait,
Somebody
let me
Cooper
kill
is
the
a-
ant off
somebody
here.
like Cooper is a cult hero. He ain't a
He's
legend,
not.
mate.
He's not. He's
And
a
You go,
Sorry.
you
legend.
go and ask,
He's a
Sorry,
you go and
legend for
ask,
our generation.
you go and ask a Brentford fan if Cooper's a legend. You ask a Man U fan if Cooper's a legend. They
And
will
Who cares?
laugh in
Who
your
cares
face.
about Brentford?
Hold on, Ben. Hold on, Ben.
Hang on,
Wait.
ask them if Puff's a legend, and they will say yes, he
And-
is a legend.
Who is the greatest
Give
Forest
him a
player
point.
of all time?
For me, Stan Collymore, he ain't a legend.
Is Dan Collymore a legend?
Woo! He ain't a legend. Robbo's a legend. Robbo is a
Ooh.
legend.
But-
Collymore is not a legend. He achieved nothing at Forest. Nothing. His
He's the
tenure at Forest
greatest. He's the
achieved
greatest player
zero.
I've ever seen in my time
But
at
he's
Forest.
the best
Mm.
player I've ever seen.
No,
That doesn't mean he's a legend.
Yeah, but I can call him a
No.
legend, can't I? Because
Yeah,
I
think
wasn't
you can.
born
I
for
think
the
that's
European era.
subjective. I think that's subjective, Ant.
It
But-
is. Yeah.
For me, even someone like Chris Wood is a legend.
People
being
will
out
laugh at you. You go on
forever.
the streams and people will laugh at you. Literally
Right.
laugh at you.
If I said Collymore is a
Frank
legend,
Clark's a
people would
legend.
laugh
Frank
at me.
Collymore, they will laugh
Yeah,
at you.
no,
If
they
I go on
wouldn't.
there and say
We need a
Robertson's
poll.
legend,
It's
if I go
based
on there
on
and
what
say
we've
Cook's a
seen.
legend, they won't laugh at me.
There's some legends
They
in this
will
chat,
laugh
but
at you. I promise
you
you.
know,
Right.
Stuart Pearce, I adore the guy. No,
What?
Brian, they're not
Right,
legends.
Wolfie,
Okay, is he a
What are you
legend?
trying
I
to
think
do?
Stuart Pearce
Why
a
are-
legend or not?
You have to achieve something for the club to be a legend.
no,
They
I
do.
don't think
You must be
no,
a
I don't
legend.
think that's the criteria.
Right, we're having this whole argument. It's just like Anthony's obsession with 110% and must-win games and penalties don't
I'm not
count.
gonna
And
change his
assists. Like,
mind.
look, this is just an argument over the meaning of the word legend.
Yeah, can
right?
we get into the
Can we-
game? Can we
Can
get
we
into the
just
game?
all
Come on.
agree? can we just all agree that Nuno is probably the best manager we've had since Frank Clark, which is a very long time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if that's the best manager for 30 years, then that's
30 years,
yeah. Right. He's taken us from 17th to 4th, and I mean legitimate 4th, not 4th for a couple of weeks, but 4th halfway through the season. That is a massive
If we're in the
improvement.
Premier League, he is a legend.
Right. If we get in the Champions League, is he a legend?
No. If he wins it,
17th
he is.
Champions League.
He can't be
17th
wrong, can
Champions
he?
League wouldn't make him a legend.
Mate, honestly,
Right,
have you
stop,
seen
stop.
some of the teams that have got into a Champions League in the past? Their managers weren't legends.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just go around the table.
Their manager doesn't become a legend.
Hold on. Right. I can't ask Crypto. This is too young. Rob, is Stuart Pearce a Forest legend?
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
Forest legend. Okay.
Ez,
No,
is
he's
Stuart Pearce
he's
a
an
Forest
England
legend?
legend. He's a
100%.
legendary legend.
Okay.
Stuart
And
Pearce
is
is a
Stuart
legend.
Pearce a Forest legend?
Right. Look.
Depends on what you're defining as a Forest legend.
It's the poll. It says, is Stuart Pearce a Forest legend? That's all. That's all I'm giving you.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say he's a Forest legend. Yeah, I would do.
What did he win?
I'd say Stan Collimore's a Forest legend, but that don't mean anything. You need to be a
because he's
legend of the
added the word
game.
Forest, he's allowed to then have legend, but without the word Forest, he can't be a legend. All right, we're moving on.
We are
Exactly.
moving on, surely. Come on.
All right, the chat
That's
has
what I just
spoken.
agree with what you guys are saying, that they're a legend for you, but they're not a legend in the world of football.
That's what we're saying.
Forest. For
Yeah,
Forest.
yeah, for Forest.
Forest.
Yeah.
All right, been a bit of a breakdown in communication, hasn't there?
And you're so funny.
All right. Anyway, 91% of the chat are saying Stuart Pearce is a legend. 8%, including Ant, are saying no by Ant's logic. Right. Anyway,
I just said he was a Forest legend, so don't twist my words.
Okay, you said she can't be a legend unless he's won something.
No. A legend in football.
Oh, he's adding stuff.
Why-
No,
that's why I
he's
expressed to
trying.
you
Keep digging.
No, that's why I literally expressed to you. If you ask a Man U fan, if you ask a Brighton fan, then Collingwood's not a legend.
That was his
specifically
argument.
said,
Yeah.
if you ask
Wait,
another
wait.
fan, hang on, I'm talking. I also said if I went onto another panel, they would laugh at you lot for saying that Stan Collymoore's a legend, but they wouldn't laugh at me for saying Robbo's a legend. Can you see? There's a difference.
Wait,
between
you said
Forest
Stan
legend.
Collymore isn't a Forest legend.
I
Yeah.
would say he's a Forest legend, but he's not a legend in football.
And then,
Minutes ago,
He's
right,
not a
we're
legend in
moving on.
football.
and then,
We're
and
moving
then,
on.
and then,
Moving on.
and then he turned
Let's
around.
move on. Let's move
Then he
on. Tom.
turned
Let's
around
move
and said,
on.
you can't be a legend unless you've done anything. But Steve Cooper did something.
Thank you. He said that, didn't he?
Premier League.
Steve Cooper did sod all. He got us promoted. Big deal. Have you seen every year
I mean,
three managers
big deal.
get
It's a
promoted?
huge
I
deal.
Every
know,
year.
what's
What do you mean
Are they
big
legends?
deal?
into?
What do
Are
you
they
mean big
legends?
deal?
We're
Are they
moving on.
legends?
Wolfie,
Steve
take
Cooper
control,
is a
bro.
legend for getting us up. We're moving on, right? But
Forest
what I will
legend he
say,
might be,
one
but he's not a legend in football.
hold on. One final thing on Nuno, right? This was
I'm
tweeted
dealing
out
with
by
idiots.
Paul. I think he goes on Forest Focus. Shout out to him. He goes, today's win at Brentford takes Nuno a point clear of Cooper in Premier League points as manager with 17 games in hand. Right? Cooper played 55 games, won 12, drew 16, lost 27, a goal difference of minus 43, 52 points. Nuno, 38 games, 15 wins, 8 draws, 15 losses, GD of -1, 53 points, 17 games ahead. That's absolutely crazy. The one question I want to finish with, and I don't want a massive debate on this. If Nuno,
You have a mass debate.
Masturbate.
pause, if Nuno gets Forest into Europe
Is he a legend?
this season, does he overtake Frank Clark in the hierarchy? I'm not talking legendary status now. Hierarchy. If he gets us into Europe, let's say Europa and above, right? Because Clarkey got it with third. That would have been Champions League back in the day, in the modern day. But back then it was called UEFA Cup back then, wasn't it? So, Rob, will Nuno overtake Frank Clark if Forest get Europe? Let's do a poll on this as well.
No, he'll equal it. We should also remember that Frank Clark was a player as well for Forest. So he's all round a good egg because he was part of that golden generation, right? Shouldn't forget that contribution that he made. Also, Frank Clark did get us promoted. So I'm just saying that Nuno is the best since Frank Clark. If he gets us into Europe, I mean, there's more European spots these days, but at the same time, the big six are more entrenched, so it's harder to break into those.
All right, man.
So I'd say it's an equal achievement. Equal achievement.
Okay, Ez, what are you saying?
I'm saying no. I'm saying Frank Clark's still ahead for one major reason, but he had to take over from Brian Clough. And I'm sorry, that puts him that level ahead. But in terms of achievement, he had to get us promoted in a very difficult league. We went into that league not knowing what we were doing, and if Ant will remember back to it, because it was a tricky start for us. It wasn't until Collymore came in and started. Even his first few games, he scored goals, but we weren't winning.
That injury,
until he started hitting form, and then I think it was that season that we signed Bohinen as well. But I think one of the key players was actually
Colin Cooper.
Colin Cooper was definitely, but those key players anyway. Let's not go into that. But yeah, I think I'll put Frank Clark still ahead just because of that. We'll see how long Nuno stays in and what he achieves next season. And if he can keep this team together and build on it, then that will take him ahead, because that's something that Frank Clark did struggle to.
Yeah.
He couldn't keep that team together. So let's see what happens. But at the moment, Frank Clark's still ahead, even if Nuno gets us into Champions League positions. I'll still say he's ahead.
What are you saying, Ant? If he gets Europe.
I pretty much agree with what Ez has just said. Let me just say this: the Oxford English Dictionary, and this doesn't back my point up. So I'm not just saying it to back my.
I'm not. Quote the BBC.
The Oxford English Dictionary defines a legend as. I'm surprised at this because this is a very subjective view again, so it doesn't help. An extremely famous or notorious person, especially in a particular field. So that's, when you say extremely famous, that's very subjective anyway.
So I got to do the question. I'll tell you what, mate. Going on the BBC has changed you, mate.
I like to make sure everybody's, addressing.
You and Laurie changed after being on Football Focus.
I'm still grounded. I can't get any more grounded.
Well, you couldn't get any lower if you tried, mate.
So what? Oh yeah. I think we need to give Nuno a bit more time before we can make any judgments, don't we? I mean, Clark, he did get us promoted. He did get us into third. I think we were 8th when we sacked him. So that shows you the standards as they were in those days, which is another thing I often talk about when people are saying this is fantastic, this player's this manager's on that. I say, hang on, let's get the standards established first. We were sacking a manager of Frank Clark's pedigree when we were 8th because that wasn't good enough for us, because we'd finished 5th, I think, the season before. So, standards are standards. So let Nuno do it for a bit longer before we pile extra pressure on him being a legend or whatever, or better than Frank Clark. And also, one other thing I would say, and this is, you will probably say this is irrelevant, but for me personally, it's not. We played beautiful football in those days. Beautiful, flowing football.
And you're spot on.
So there are ways of doing it.
Because I was going to say to you, would it be fair to say, because I get what Ez is saying, and I do kind of agree with Ez, but would it be fair to say that Frank Clark, by some distance, had a better team than Nuno has now?
I would say so.
Yeah, so wouldn't that put even higher in regards what Nuno has done so far this season? See, that's got us thinking. That's got us thinking that has. Would everyone agree? Are you three at the moment? Obviously, I can't ask Ben, but would you all agree with me that team under Clarkey was, I would say, at least twice as good as what we have now?
Oh,
it's beautiful. If ever anybody wants to watch how football should be played, go and watch a tape. Go and watch a tape of Forest away at Sheffield Wednesday. That's how football should be played. It is the most.
Yeah, I mean, amazing football. Yeah, amazing football that season. Coming up,
at that game, Ed, if you remember, Ed, at that game, the away supporters were applauding Forest. Yep. Literally, the whole ground was applauding football that Forest were playing. I'm getting goose pimples.
But you're shaking your head though, Rob. Right? I would say the only person from this team that gets into that team for certain would be Aina over Des Little for me, and maybe Milenkovic.
I love Des Little though. I love Des Little.
He wasn't the best right back though, in my opinion. Who else would get in? You'd say Milenkovic, Cooper or Chettle? I love them both.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Milenkovic gets in over Chettle.
Right. Look,
Go on,
we had
Rob.
this discussion at the live event we did at the Grosvenor.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah.
I personally think that the level of the game nowadays, with all the sports science and all the psychologists and nutritionists and heat maps and drones and the rest of it, and all the money that's been thrown of it, the team that we have now is absolute top talent assembled from around the world. We've got Brazilians, Argentines, we've got the captain of Serbia, we've got a New Zealand legend up front. I just think that the game itself has moved on a little bit. And I think that this team is stronger than that team, which that team was very much built around Stan Collymore. And as soon as you took him out of it, things unraveled, right? I think that this team now, you could take one or two key players out of it and it would still be good, right? And I think that the level of opposition that we have now, just what we're up against, I think that this team is frankly a bit better. Sorry to say.
You say it's better. I disagree. The only ones I would switch out would be Gemmell and Des Little. Chettle, okay, Milenkovic is better than Chettle, but the rest.
Simon, how old are you, Simon? Simon F, how old are you?
He's probably about my age, I think. Yeah, actually, he might be in between me and you.
I thought he was a young boy with that response.
Anyway, okay, let's move on to the game. By the way, if Forest get Europe, does Nuno overtake Clarkey? 44% say yes, 24% say no, and 31% says he's level. He's level. He's Ezra's age. He's Ezra's age. So he would have seen Clarkey then. Okay. Anyway, we've gone too historic here, but it's nice. We finally have something that's comparable with the last decent team we had.
Well, and it is 30 years. That 30 years is quite significant. Because
can I just say that's why I've got this shirt on? It was just subliminal messaging, and now we've had 40 minutes discussion about it, but that wasn't.
All right, let's get on to the game. Right, we can bring crypto back into it. Yeah, if you're watching later, look for my clap there. That's where we start talking about the actual game, right? I don't know. I could talk about the old stuff for ages, man. This is quite interesting. Anyway, all right. Let's bring crypto back in because he's probably been thinking for the last half hour what he's on about. Right, the game yesterday. Rob said he was feeling a bit nervous, man. I probably was the most comfortable I've been since we've been back in that second half. What did you think of the team lineup and the formation to start with? Because he switched it up to a back three.
I mean, I've got to the point where I have to trust in Nuno. So if Nuno switches it up, he must have seen something to give him the decision to make. I mean, Brentford, don't forget, Brentford have got 22 points, I think, from their home matches. So they're a very, very hard team to beat at home. And we were expected to go in there and just turn them over. And I predicted we would win. I mean, I got a 2-0 exact Super Brew predictor. So I thought we'd go in there and win. But the lineup for me, I didn't necessarily like it, but I had to trust in Nuno. The one thing I did like is that Ant dressed as Father Christmas. I
didn't want to interrupt you, mate. I was just checking to see if people could see it. I'm going to ask a question about this photo in a minute.
The one thing I did quite like is the midfield, specifically for that formation, because I've been saying for a while now that I'd like to see Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White almost alternate in the midfield. MGW drops back into the 8. Anderson pushes forward a little bit. If Anderson needs to come back, MGW pushes forward a little bit. And I thought yesterday was one of Morgan Gibbs-White's best games. So I was really impressed by the way they played together. And I don't think we missed Dominguez and Yates from the start. I've got to say, I thought when Yates came on 2-0 up, he was the perfect player. He doesn't seem to get carded anymore. He comes on and he wins about 10 fouls. So I thought Yates
headlocks one player, didn't he?
Yeah,
he just didn't get carded.
That for me, and again, I've been saying it all season, that for me is Ryan Yates at his best. Coming on as a sub when we're two goals up and just doing shithousery to the opponent.
Excuse me?
And the one other thing I want to mention is that another thing I've been saying all season is that if you do play Murillo in the middle, not the left, in the middle of a 5-back, he almost pushes forward into a CDM position. Yeah. And yesterday, I mean, as good as Murillo is in every game, yesterday he was a different class. He was making 40, 50-yard runs up the pitch and basically creating attacks from the back of our box. So, yeah, I mean, big up to Nuno for having the guts to change the formation, because my worry was it would be like another Fulham. I know that was 4-4-2, but that completely flopped. So, yeah, I was astounded really that it worked that well. And like you say, I agree with you, Wolfie. I wasn't really worried that they were even going to score.
Why were you worried, Rob? If I wasn't worried, then no one should be worried.
There was a period from 60 to 85 minutes where the clock seemed to go exceptionally slowly, and we seem to have problems properly clearing it. But all I would say is you've got to understand that was new territory for us. We have not beaten Brentford since we've come up, right? They're in a category with Bournemouth and Tottenham, who absolutely want to crush over the coming weeks, right? While we're good, we need to tick all of these people off, win at Anfield, win at Old Trafford. Now we've beaten Brentford away, where they were the most fancied team at home. Brentford averaged 3.5 goals at home. So I was maybe a little bit nervous simply because they'd been so hyped up as an attacking threat. And I was thinking, surely they're going to be able to break through. But no, Morato continued with his streak of not letting in a goal while we've been ahead. Even Mbuemo couldn't break us down. And by the way, what a quality player. Can we buy him? Can you imagine our team with
perfect.
him in it?
Yeah,
he's perfect. So, Hez has always said he wants him.
Yeah. You got it right. He looks about 35 because of his hairstyle and beard, but he's actually 25. So
is he 25?
Yeah,
he would. I think he might be 24 actually, but
he would slot in perfectly on our right hand side, which is not to criticize Anthony Elanga. I'm really happy. I was the one that said let's put Elanga in because he's a confidence player and he's on confidence. So let's make the most out of it. Before I hand over,
right, Robin, is that the first time we won at the Gtech Stadium?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, when did they change their?
We beat Brentford. Yeah. That is the first time we beat Brentford.
No, we beat them under. Was it Lamouchi 1-0?
Oh right, okay. In the Premier League,
not in the Gtech, I'm sure.
Yeah, that would have been in there. Yeah, was there also called Griffith?
So the beauty of yesterday was that we held them to 0. Which I think is a real statement. I mean, people saying like, oh, well, you won at Old Trafford, you won at Liverpool, that's a statement. No, yesterday was a statement because
I agree.
Holding them to 0. And I want that 3-4-3 formation. I want that for the next few games now. I think we've moved on from the 4-2-3-1. What I like about that 3-4-3 is we've road tested it in multiple games now where we've needed to see out the last 25 minutes. And it stood firm. What I like about it is that, let's put it this way. I don't think Inges and Yates are starters for us. And we've managed to find a formation now where they don't need to start, where we've basically got quality in every position. We've got, on both sides, you've got wingers and wing backs overlapping. And what I really like about the formation is when you've got, so we've lamented the gap between the midfield and the defense, haven't we? We've lamented that gap, right? We haven't got Sangare. No one's tracking back from the midfield. What I noticed yesterday and what I've noticed about this 3-4-3 is that when you've got those 3 centre-backs and the other team are in possession and they're running at you, one of them can step out, right? And all 3 of them did it at various points. So one of them can step out and make the tackle, knowing that there's still 2 central defenders behind them. And it was really important because I saw us break down a lot of Brentford moves where they were flowing forward, they were coming forward, and it would either be Murillo or Morato would step out and make the early tackle, and the attack would break down, and then we would counterattack. And I thought, wow, we've solved that problem without playing Murillo at 6 and without signing a new midfielder. We've solved that problem. And I thought it worked really, really well. I want that formation against Tottenham, and I want that formation against Liverpool. That needs to be the formation now. I was really happy with it.
What, every game? Okay.
Yes, that's the new formation.
Yeah, but surely it's better. Surely it's better to trust in Nuno to decide the formation for the match. That's the point I was getting at. He's obviously looking at how they play their recent games. I think he said in an interview before that they spend hours and hours watching the recent games of their opponents, and then they decide the formation for that game, and he got it spot on, basically.
So I felt like we were becoming a bit inflexible with the 4-2-3-1, which is why I was so annoyed that we played that at Arsenal and at Man City. And honestly, I felt if we played those games again with how we set up yesterday, we wouldn't have got 3-0 in both games.
I agree.
Okay, so on that, just to back up your point, that idiot Thomas Frank came out after the match. It wasn't on his match of the day interview, but he did point out, he was like, well, I saw Nuno and he played 4-back against Liverpool and Man City away.
That's Indian. That's Indian.
Well, okay, he's half Indian then. Anyway, my point was even he wasn't expecting it. Like Nuno caught him off guard going 3-back, and like we knew that it was that. I mean, we had the formation beforehand. We kept it quiet. We didn't want Thomas Frank, who's an avid viewer of the channel, knowing that. But that's why
Thomas Frank after the game said that they absolutely deserved to win. We were very lucky. They should have had a lot of goals.
That's not what he said in his Brentford interview.
That's what the official.
I know. He's a goddamn hypocrite. Listen to his Brentford interview. He was like, "Oh, we dominated." Okay, I'm not going to do his accent again. We dominated the game. If we play that game again, we would probably win it. All this other BS, you know, when he's doing it to his one fan. Shout out to BFC in the chat. But when he did it in front of him, he's a hypocrite. I don't know why people buy into this rubbish about him being this great manager and nice guy.
He's taken as you often will say, a non-identity football club. And
stop in Hounslow, mate.
But he's got them to be a Premier League force. Yeah. So kudos to him.
Force.
Yeah, they are a force. Yeah, they're above bloody Man U.
Legend.
What's the criteria for that?
Above Man U.
I want to this photograph, see if anybody recognises either of these two people. It's just been sent to me. This is live. Well, it was live a few minutes ago.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, Santa.
And Emre. And Emre.
No, he's a Forest legend in goal.
Is he a legend, is he?
I mean,
didn't I?
Steve Sutton.
It's not Peter Shilton, who is a Forest legend.
It starts with an S and it ends in a
Sutton.
N.
Yeah, Stevie Sutton. And Santa Claus is my brother, by the way. Yeah, Steve Sutton. He's playing in the band, evidently.
He's on Radio Nottingham quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's that got to do with anything right now?
Nothing, but I was falling to sleep listening to. I mean, it's been very interesting the last. Must be about an hour and a half. But you know,
I've enjoyed it. Actually, I have to say, Chad, are you enjoying the stream, or do you want to go back to these not arguing?
Tired. That's because you're tired and you want peace and quiet. That's right.
I was tired. Okay.
Can I just say something that I went to it, and I want to know if you were at this game, because every game I mentioned, you say I was at this game. I went to see, I've just looked it up, 2006, Brentford 1, Nottingham Forest 1 at their old ground. I remember I went to a meeting. I came back to Heathrow Airport and I basically got a taxi from the Heathrow car park to Brentford's old ground. And that was a shithole. And that was in League One in 2006. Chris Commons scored for us after 5 minutes.
Another Forest legend.
I think in that era,
Chris Cohen. Chris Cohen is a Forest legend.
Right, I've just got to catch up on the super chats. No, thank you so much for the 199, buddy. He says Nuno hasn't beaten a team he used to be at. Ooh,
Spurs or Wolves? You mean? How many times you played?
Yeah, how many teams is it?
It could be a Lechley as well. You know, it could be that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but we haven't played.
How's your back, Noah? How's your back, mate?
How's your back? He's got a chance to rectify both those in the next couple of weeks. Thank you for the 199. And Noah again with another 199 says, so I hope we beat his old club Spursy on Thursday. Oh, please, God, please. Like, if Nuno ticks that Spurs box, if he ticks that Spurs box, though, he's ticked them all for me. He's ticked them all. Liverpool, Man U, Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs.
Yeah, that's same here. That's what I said, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's
going back 30 years. One of the key games that season as well was away at White Hart Lane. We beat them 4-1.
4-1. Yeah, I was at that game.
That was an amazing performance.
We did not lose to Spurs back then. It was like guaranteed.
I know.
And we haven't beaten them. It's still my head in.
Like Rob said, those two teams, Spurs and Bournemouth, we will get rid of those hoodoos by the end of this season. I'm confident of it.
They've got to go.
That way.
I'm more confident for this Boxing Day game than I've been playing against Spurs.
I hate when you're confident, mate.
I hate. No, but he's going into it. But
after what I saw today and what I've seen of Spurs in the last, this season, basically, we can open them up. Now, it's an interesting thought of whether we'll play Elanga, but I suppose, are we going to do a preview of that in a bit, or not bothering?
Well, let's go on to Elanga.
Got to do the review first.
Well, can I just talk about the formation? Because I would, like Rob said, would certainly play. I wouldn't say every
just before you do it. Just before you do, the chat is slacking off. There's just, I think, 450 in here, 143 likes. All right, we should be well past 200 likes. So take a quick second, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new. And please as well subscribe to our second channel, the 30 Network, which you guys have already got to over nearly 2,000 subscribers. So I'll put that link up for you guys as well in a second.
Could get spicy now.
Guys, talk. Oh man, the swearing's gonna come right at this stage of proceedings. If you're watching with kids, Ant now has alcohol in his hands. Therefore, it might be a good time to put the kids to bed. Little early. It's only 8:30. So
I tell you what,
I will try and contain him.
I shall control myself.
And I've actually got a bit more respect for you because I didn't know how hard it was to do these GORs and drink alcohol. I'm on my third cider and I can barely string a sentence together.
I noticed you slipped a sweetie word out earlier as
well.
Jeez.
You got doubles. Anyway, all right. So I'll put the link up for the video. Please do subscribe to it. And yeah, Ed, you were going to talk about the formation.
Yeah, formation wise, and touching on what Rob said, I certainly would I'd play the same lineup actually, formation included, for the Spurs game, because what Brentford's threat was cutting in and overlapping and underlapping, and what playing that back three does is it spreads out your centre backs across that 18-yard line, and we cut out those passing lanes, and we did it perfectly yesterday. Now there were times when the set pieces from both teams were really poor yesterday, but the majority of the time, actually, we were just getting to that first ball every single time. And probably for my man of the match anyway, Murillo was the key man for getting those defensive blocks away. So I loved that formation yesterday. I'm glad it worked. He tried something new and it worked. I would use that against Spurs, and I would probably use that in the Liverpool game, but not every single game. Now we've got a couple of ways to play, and you got to think about, we will start having players coming back, like the likes of Sangare. Would Sangare work in that kind of formation? Probably would. You could probably pair him up again with MG Double, Anderson in that middle too. But I'm loving that we've got another option, and like Rob says, I would actually use that in the Spurs game, 100%. I'd play with the same starting lineup, so I would keep Elanga on there. And like I mentioned at the end of the last stream, Elanga's a streaky player. That's 2 goals in 2 games now, and the assist to go with it. So let's hope he's hitting that streak of form that he did around this time last year as well. But formation-wise, loving the fact that we've got another formation. It worked really well yesterday, and there are certain games where I think 100% that would be the spot-on way to go.
Oh, let's ask this question, and shout out to Ryan. Thank you for subscribing. Elanga, 50 million, Newcastle come in this window. And what you're saying in chat, you are not getting away scot-free with this, because I'm going to put a poll up. And I have the results for the last poll.
First of all, I'll have seeing as you didn't bother asking me, I'll have a quick 2 seconds on formations. I don't think we need to be wedded to any particular formation. I think we've used formations well all season, often in games with defended quite stoutly for the first 70 minutes, then gone for it in the last 20. I don't think it's anything new. And as regarding the back five, if you like, or the back three, whichever you want to call it, yeah, I agree with the lads. I think against Spurs, it's probably not a bad idea, but we've got to, as long as we've got pace up front, which we should have, and we've got passers in the middle, which we definitely have, then that should be able to break Spurs, no problem. So, yeah, but we don't have to be wedded to it. You know, it's all sorts of courses, isn't it? 50 million for Elanga. Honestly, mate, it depends on who we can get. It depends on if we can get a better replacement. We would need a replacement.
Yeah.
Let's not
Waymo.
ignore that.
Waymo.
So if you bring 50 million in, that's a lot of money. But how much is a good replacement going to cost? Can we get one? I've seen some suggestions in the chat. What you have to remember, guys, is that it's not like the old days where teams like Forest could go to the likes of Bournemouth and just pick whoever we wanted. That no longer
Excuse
exists.
me,
These
we're
teams-
fourth in the league, mate. We're big.
We're
Six.
Highland.
Let me just finish my point, and then you can do what you like. Teams these days have got a lot of money. The likes of Bournemouth are a rich, wealthy club. They've got a lot of money. Providing that whichever team we're discussing hasn't got PSR troubles, which, you know, some do, some don't, then there's no need for those teams to sell anymore. It's not like the old days. So just bear in mind that having money doesn't mean you can go and get players like it used to in the old days. So you're probably looking abroad. So if people can come up with some suggestions of a right-sided winger from abroad who will come to Forest, who we can afford and is available, then I'll be interested to see it. That's what you've got to bear in mind. You can't just take the money and then not have a winger.
100%.
Well, they're still, you know,
But hold on. He's not answering the question.
there's still three games. There's still three games
I'm
left.
sorry,
though,
but
to
if I
decide.
asked this to
It's
you
not a
2
yes,
weeks
no
ago,
question,
you would
is
be
it?
like
It's
yes
not.
or no.
Rob will back me up here. It's not a yes, no question, is it?
No, it is a yes,
depends
no
on-
question. Because if I asked
No,
you
it's
2
not.
weeks
If
ago,
we
you
can't
were
get
saying
a
yes or
suitable
no.
all right, and if we can't get a suitable replacement, the answer is
Jota
no.
Silva.
If we
Jota
if we can
Silva.
get it-
No,
he's not good
no.
enough. He's nowhere near
No,
good.
just
Elang's a much
weakening the
better player
team.
right now.
You're weakening the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you're saying no then?
If we can't get a suitable replacement, 100% no. You can't just sell one of your wingers and that's all we've got 50 million.
I
Look,
agree.
Are we in the position where we have to sell somebody every season to balance the books? If the answer
No.
is
Yeah,
no,
but Rob, can we
tell it.
stick to the question, Elanga? No,
I'd
if we widen
I'd
it,
love
Rob, we'll
you
be
to
here all
start to
night.
the question. You didn't answer it.
I did answer it.
No, you didn't. It's a yes, no question. Without
it's
your
not a yes, no
stipulations, there's
question,
no
though, is it?
stipulations in it. Look, how come the chat can vote on it without stipulations and you can't answer it?
Because they're not in front. They're not in front of 500 people or whatever.
Yeah, but we keep
They can
receipts
say what
on
they
these
like.
polls.
Yeah, but we want to be able
Uh,
to put you
Not
on
pleased with
Twitter.
his answer. Go on, Rob. Would you sell Elanga for 50 million now?
If you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago, yes.
Uh,
But now, no. My answer is no. Okay.
Thank
Would
you
like
for
to say
at
any
least
more?
answering the question, unlike somebody.
We've been waiting a long time for him to show the kind of form he did initially under Nuno and indeed under Cooper. Just remember, watch the Chris Wood 20 goals video. Out of the first 10, 6 are from Elanga crosses, right? So we know what he can do. Got to remember, I think, what he 22? You know, he isn't the finished article yet. I like his left foot is clearly better than his right because the precision with which he put that shot away yesterday, excellent finish. What an excellent finish, right? That was just absolutely not what he did at Man City when he had those 2 chances on his right foot. So, look, if he's going to be in a, like Ed says, he's a streaky player. If he's going to be in a vein of form now, we've been waiting. Let's utilize it, you know. And he's not the finished article. He's going to be, hopefully, a better player than this. You know, he's honestly, he's been judged based on his time at Man U. You know, he's playing when he's like 19, 20 years old, and like, oh, he's not very good. He's 19 years old, so how can you make a judgment on him? So he's clearly a confidence player, and if his confidence has come back, let's get maximum game time for Elanga.
Yeah,
and also, his celebration yesterday, did you notice the subtle difference in his celebration? So when he scored the winner against Villa, he seemed like
He did the West Ham one. He did this. He did the West Ham one.
He seemed a bit overwrought by it.
Yeah.
But yesterday he did that big slide, and then you saw his mouth was just turning up a little bit. I thought, oh, some of his swagger is coming back now, and that's what you want. You want swagger from him. You want confidence because he wants to be the man. He wants to entertain. So you know, let's get the most out of it while he's on form.
Well, I'll come to you next, Ben, but just an update on the poll. Would you sell Elanga for 50 million now? 52% are saying yes. 48 are saying no.
I literally voted the wrong way. I put yes, I meant no.
Well, I didn't vote.
I
I
thought,
would've-
how can I take it back?
Crypto, yes or no?
I'd sell him for 50 million, and I'll tell you why. And I could be completely wrong. I may be about to speak a load of dribble.
Wouldn't be a first time.
I don't think he looks that happy at the club. He never smiles. He's one of those players. He scores a fantastic goal and he still can't smile. To me, he looks like
training videos.
He doesn't look, to me, I don't care about training videos. It doesn't look like he wants to be there.
That's where he is at work.
Are you joking? Are you joking, Crypto? Are you just trolling again?
Yeah, he is. He is. He's just fine.
I'm not joking. For 50
He's
million.
one of the happiest people I've ever seen in my life.
And also, like 90% of the reason we didn't sell him was because they all like him.
Yeah, but times
It's
change.
massive. With Ola and Joe, they're massive.
Crypto, do you not think that he's been frustrated at his own performance levels, though?
Yeah.
I mean,
Rob, don't, because he is happy. He's always smiling. Every time
go back to when we won at Liverpool. Remember that very prolonged celebration that he got into with Aina and Cho, right? So he is happy when he's doing that, when he's doing the assist for that goal. So I think he's just had a bad run, and he knows it.
Selling players because they don't celebrate right now.
He's had a bad run, and he knows it.
Do you know who else doesn't celebrate right? Awani.
Taiwo.
Exactly. And sell Taiwo too. Look, 50 million for Elanga. He's got to go. I think there's better players out there. More consistent players.
I don't have a problem with you wanting to sell him. I'm still on the sell rather than not sell because we could probably get 50 mil.
If we get in the Champions League,
50 mil means nothing if it's in the bank. You need players.
If we get in the Champions League, we are going to need more squad depth than
any European football. Any European football next season.
You're going to need to be playing games on Wednesday, followed by Sunday, followed by Tuesday, right? So the idea that you would release a player like Elanga, you need to be adding an Mbeumo on top of Elanga and keeping Elanga, right? Yeah. We don't need to be selling anybody, right?
We need to go back to
spend. We're 3 years Premier League now.
One at a time.
Rob never shuts up. He goes on and on and on and on.
You never shut up.
I've only got so much energy, before
shut the fuck up. My name's Crypto. 50 million, he's gone. He's out the door. I think there's better players. There's better players.
Your point.
You haven't got a clue.
Hold on. Your point on the 50 million, and that would mean you're in favor of him because, as Craig says, 50 million buys you probably about 90 million.
Mbeumo. I'd rather have Mbeumo.
Not getting Mbeumo for 50 million.
Why would Mbeumo want to stay at Brentford when he could
Forest would rather have Mbeumo?
Why would he want to stay at Brentford? Why on earth would he want to stay at Brentford?
Why do people talk so? Oh, nearly. You nearly got me to swear then.
Oh, I mean, we lasted an hour, and then here comes the
F-bomb, didn't he?
Honestly, no, I was talking about the grumpiness, man. The grumpiness is back.
Grumpy, mate. I'm not getting involved.
I'm not saying, like chat said, that Rob is half glass full by 52%. I'm thinking the lot of you combined right now, a glass empty, not even half empty. Anyway, okay, let's.
By the way, I do actually love Elanga. I've got his shirt on my wall.
Yeah, that's why he went crap.
That's why. Oh, don't even say
exactly.
That.
All right, super chats. Nikki says, with 199, thanks so much, Nikki. He says, go on and get that wine down, yeah. Thank you so much. You can tell the effects are starting to kick in. Noah with the 199, he says, my bag's healed, Wolfie. There's a spider on your hat.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's playing Panto. He's
oh.
playing Panto stuff
all
for a
right,
minute
all
now.
right,
Isn't he?
no, all right. Someone's on the wine as well. Thank you so
And
much.
it was it was Ed that asked him.
Thank you so much, Noah. Sharky with the 28th month.
Hang on. I'm sorry. There's got to be a steward's inquiry. This comes up every single goal.
Wait, what did you call him? This what?
This comes up every single
Oh,
goal.
I thought you said something else. All
I
right.
know what you thought I said.
I was on the edge, mate.
Something else. He's also put in £5 as well, saying in 95 I was dreaming of Claudia Schäfer. In 2024 I'm dreaming of the Conference League. Such is life. Yeah. I wonder which she wakes up more aroused to. I think I know the answer to that.
But Claudia Schäfer now is probably quite rough anyway. Sharp.
Don't
worry about it.
Not Claudia Schiffer.
Cheers, Sharky. Curtis with the $5. He goes, I don't think Sosa is good enough and needs to be loaned out for development, which means we need a winger anyways. He wasn't even on the bench yesterday, was he?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think we do need another winger.
Is he getting the Scarpa treatment? Is he getting the Scarpa treatment? Thanks so much, Curtis, for the $5. Stoney with the 26 months. Nice, been a member since birth, basically. Thank you so much.
Basically, yeah.
26 months. And Mikey with the £5 says, 4th at Christmas. Honored to be sharing this journey with everyone involved with FFTV. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all. Guys, it is a festive season. I hope you got some nice plans, some warm plans. Your hearts are all going to be warm now with Forest guaranteed going in there at 4th. So make sure you spend some time with your loved ones. Yes, football, we love it, but it's not the be all and end all. So make sure you make time for your family.
Unless you're Ant. I hoped you guys wouldn't notice. I hoped you guys wouldn't notice this, but unfortunately, Laurie has.
What?
Has anyone?
Oh no, we have noticed it.
No, we noticed.
My list of it's on my agenda, right?
Unfortunately, I've ordered a Milankovic shirt. So
do you know I lose sleep over that?
I don't believe in superstition or that, but it's got even me worried. This has.
He's such a jinx. He's such a jinx.
I bought this shirt, right, and the next game he got injured.
Can someone find out where Crypto lives and burn his shirt collection, please?
Yeah, also, you got your wall redone, and now Wolves are going to get relegated from it. So
they might survive now.
Why do I not understand this? Why do I not understand
I don't understand it
either. Let me read out. Mark with the £2 says Crypto wants some Buemo so he can have Kinder Surprise. It's referring to the chocolate. Because
I don't get it. It's not Buemo, it's Bueno.
Bueno.
Close enough. It's close enough. Marky Boy, thank you so much for the £2. And Seb with the £2.
No story, Seb. Seb, where's the story, man? Put it in the chat.
Not right wing.
He's run out of stories.
No, Rob Watch. And Seb, you come to deal with us apparently.
I love that.
Do you know what? Right, the double meaning behind that took me a second, but that's the best super chat of the night.
Yeah, that made me. Yeah.
Shout out to Seb, and shout out to Rachel who joins us new as well. Say, love you guys. At least you talk my language. Rachel, you caught us on a behaved. Yeah, so we hope you come back, but you have been warned. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Right, our defense. I just want to say on the record, because I've already said it on the record, we have the best 2 centre-backs, potentially 3, in the league. I remember Ant specifically saying, Arsenal, Gabriel, Saliba, and all this, right? Mm-hmm. Is there anyone who's now not convinced that this defensive 2, let's keep it to M&M for now, is the best in the league, which would technically make them the best in the world, because everyone says Premier League's best league in the world.
Yeah.
So, Anne, have you changed your mind yet?
At the moment, right now, on form, I would not swap them for anybody else in the world. Literally.
Saliba? Stay consistent, and remember what you said.
Including Saliba. Saliba's been dreadful the last few games.
He can't play at high line, yeah.
So,
okay.
Now, I would not swap out 2 for anybody else. Either of them. For anybody else. Even Van Dijk, sod him. No.
So you were wrong.
So, Anne, can we just go back to the end of last season when I said Murillo was the future of our football club, and you said no, he's not. He's going to get sold.
He will be sold.
End of that.
I didn't hear what it had said. Anyway, right? Is there?
I said he will be sold.
Who? What are you talking about?
Murillo. He said, "Can you remember? Can you remember last season?" I said Murillo would be the future of our club. And he said he'd be sold, and I'm saying he will be sold. That's it.
Well, okay, forget it. Let's move on, right? Lemmy is saying Van Dijk and Konate are better, but we're second best. I don't
right
buy
now.
that.
Konate's not playing right now.
Van
Yeah,
Dijk's
Gomez.
I said right now.
All right. I don't know. I want to know what the chat are thinking on this. Are they the best in the league? Okay, we won't say the world. Let's say the league, right?
No,
what are you
okay.
saying, Liz?
Will's okay.
It was okay, yeah.
Will's okay.
Listen, the only proviso I had last time you asked that question was that they didn't have goals. They hadn't added goals to it, and now they've added goals to it, and they absolutely both of them are a threat going forward as well. But defensively, they were solid then. Yeah, we've had a couple of games where the formation's not been right. We've conceded, 3 goals on a few occasions, but in the whole, they weren't at fault for those goals. I wouldn't have said on too many of those occasions, but yeah, I agree, mate. They're the best centre back period. Adding the goals to it, I wouldn't replace them for anybody else. Certainly not in the Premier League, and maybe as far as Europe. I can't go any further than that. I don't know the rest of the world, but they're impeccable right now. And you got to extend it to the back line as well, because I was looking at the stats on FPL earlier today. 3 of our back 4 are in the top 10 in terms of point scoring. And obviously,
Aina's the best right back in the world. That's not even a debate.
Not only the best right back, but the highest scoring defender on FPL. So he's top.
That's because he's the best right back in the world. That's not even up for debate. That's never been up for debate.
He's certainly the best right back in the Premier League. I mean,
you count Trent Alexander-Arnold as a right back?
I wouldn't.
Do you count Trent Alexander-Arnold as a right back?
Yeah.
On those stats, yes, he is.
Are you saying he's better than Trent then?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah, he is. Yeah,
yes. Why are you saying he's not?
No, I don't personally count Trent as a traditional right back. I think Aina is a better traditional right back. But if you're talking about inverting and moving in and spraying balls about, then there's no competition, is there? Having said that, Aina going down that wing when he gets a burst on, I don't think many players can catch him. He is like lightning. So
but Trent's not a right back.
He's way more.
No, that's what I said. That's why I don't class him as a traditional right back. So yeah,
Aina's the best right back in the world and the best right wing back in the world as well. He's the best in 2 positions.
He's fantastic in both positions, 100%.
Well, why don't we try signing him onto a contract then? That might be useful.
That's starting to annoy me. I'm not going to lie to you. Starting to annoy me.
I've been mentioning it for the past 6 months.
Yeah. I'd pay him on 5 years plus 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, plus 1 and yeah.
Exactly. And I just love him, man. Oh my God. Could you imagine a night out with Ola Aina, man?
He's a funny guy, isn't
he? And he wants
he's another one that Crypto thinks is miserable and wants to leave.
No, I don't. No, absolutely. I love Aina. He's one of my favorite players, and he watches the channel. So don't you dare slander his name in front of him.
Yeah, just his mate. Yeah, just flag his mates off, Crypto.
He did a good interview yesterday, didn't he? It's on the club YouTube. He did a good interview with Colin Frey, and what I like is he's just so relaxed and humble about it, considering that he is statistically and in FPL terms the best defender in the country right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why you narrow it down to the centre back pairing, because I think the whole defense.
I mean that back line. Even Sels is the second highest scoring.
Hang on, lads, calm it down a little bit.
Yeah, but you can only have three players on the same team, so pointless.
The reason I don't say the whole back line, I'm still not convinced that left back we've got the strongest.
I thought Nico Williams
has done well.
Well, Nico as a wing back. Sorry, go on.
Nico's been playing brilliantly, hasn't he?
I just thought the way Nico Williams has progressed since I took a selfie with him in the car park last year is just swings and roundabouts.
Don't buy the shirt.
Buy a shirt, please.
I'm already alluded to.
As you guys know, I had a quick word with him last year. I walked up to him and I said, "Look, Nico, you were pretty shit last night, weren't you?" And he didn't want to speak to me. Anyway, he took a selfie with me. Since then, he's been sublime.
So the moral of the story is don't buy shirts, take selfies.
Telling me he's rubbish and then asking for a selfie. Brilliant.
Yeah, but
Well,
he's
you
not.
did that. You did that with James Ward-Prowse, and it didn't work. So
No. Well,
Can I just address
I
that
definitely
previous?
jinxed him.
Can I
I
just
definitely
address that
jinxed him.
previous comment because it's
What's
a
that?
good point.
Which one?
And they have a lot of money. As I said earlier, that like Brentford don't need to sell their players for us. I believe that's the position we're in. We are in charge now. I don't think we have any PSR issues. We've got a very
No.
wealthy and very ambitious owner.
Yeah.
I don't
bet.
think we have to sell anybody.
No, we don't.
The only way I think we will sell somebody is if that person sort of demands to go. You know, some players that can down tools and say I'm going. Apart from that, I don't think we need. I can't see us selling anybody in January that we don't want to.
Yeah, I think you're right in terms of what you're saying. And it does make me worry about Aina because, again, he's another one being recognized by the masses now as the best right back in the league. And if he's open to, hasn't locked down that contract, you could Man City need a right back, man. I mean, Kyle Walker's shot.
Well, Man City, they can't get him on a pre-sale, but Real Madrid can. Barcelona, crap on it. But Bayern Munich, for example, they could come in and get him on a pre-contract.
Why can't Man City? What are you talking about?
Because you can only do a pre-contract if it's abroad. You can't do it within the Premier League.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Really?
I don't think that's right because we were going to talk.
It is right. It is right. It is right.
All right, you may be right. Okay.
You can talk to the guy. But you can talk to the guy any time, but you can't actually sign a pre-contract.
Yeah, but they can come to the agreement, and can't they?
You can come to the agreement. I'm not saying you can't, but a foreign club can actually sign a contract with them.
There's people in the chat saying I'm chatting shit. I'm not. That's me and him.
No, you're not chatting shit about having your photo taken with him. It's just the rest of what you say.
Yeah, exactly.
Genuinely, that's what I said to him.
Adam with the 499, he says, which players from the 94-95 team would you pick to replace current players? Bohinen over Anderson, Cooper over Milenkovic, Wona over Chow.
None of those three.
Collymore over Wood, Roy over Morgan Gibbs-White, Stuart Pearce over Nico Williams. Who else is there? I wouldn't take Gemmell.
I take Crosby.
Crosby, you have to take. You have to take over Sels. So that would be my list, Adam. Thank you so much for the 499, which nicely brings us on, Rob, to Sels. And the reason being is you've been banging the Carlos Miguel drum with Nicky still for the last couple of weeks. Now, Sels produced a save yesterday that everyone was calling world class. I completely disagree because it hit him in the face. I'm sorry, it hit him in the face, right?
Totally world class save that was.
It wasn't. It hit him in the face, right?
No, he didn't. He went
down out cold from his face, man. Like it hit him in the face.
Upright like that, and it hit
this
him.
question was for me, Dad.
Yeah. Anyway, hold your guns. Hold your guns, right?
Yeah.
Hold your guns.
Yeah, well, you spoke for about 85% of the time tonight, Rob. So you can shut your big fat gob, can't you?
Stop.
Let somebody else have a go. You know what I mean?
No, I want to ask him because he's been going on about Miguel, right? Is Sels now certified number one, even in your opinion, Rob?
Even every time I have a go at Sels and say that we should play Miguel, he steps up further. So the last time was I said Sels will never be man of the match, and then straight afterwards at Chelsea he was man of the match. So we should also remember he made a pretty good save after 5 minutes yesterday. I mean, it was one that you would expect most goalkeepers to make, but Matt Turner wouldn't have made it. So he did when he was called upon yesterday. He did the business, and keeping a clean sheet at Brentford is an achievement. Also, FPL terms, I'm pretty sure he's got more points than Raya now. I think he might be the number one goalkeeper.
Number two. I had a look. He's just behind Pickford.
Well, he's 2 million cheaper than Raya. So why would anybody have Raya over Sels? So look, no, he's great. He's great. I'm happy with Sels now.
I'm sorry, but you can't compare Raya to Sels. You can't
what
say
did you just say?
In FPL terms. In FPL terms.
Well, can we talk real? I'm getting really bored tonight. You know that, honestly.
It's the stats, though. It's the stats.
So boring. FPL, FIFA, this bloody hell.
Yeah, no, I don't mind
you
FIFA.
need to grow up.
Boring.
You know, you're not 14 anymore. You know, you need to grow up and have proper conversations about real things.
So go on then, Ant. What are you saying on Sels? Is he bona fide number one now?
For Forest?
Yeah.
Of course he is. There never has been any doubt about that. I've been telling you for 6 months. I know them two idiots, but there's been no doubt for the last 6 months. Sels is 100% number one. Miguel is nowhere near the squad. Nowhere near it.
You don't know
Right.
that. He'll be in the
The
FA
only
Cup.
way I do know that because I've got
Yeah.
a brain in my head and I've got eyes in my head. I can see the way they play and what they do and the way the team's looking. The way that Sels is an integral part of that back four, back five, back three, whatever you want to call it. Right? He's integral part of that. They know each other. They understand each other. He's making save after save after save. His distribution's improved no end. He's a good quality goalkeeper, but Rob is not on the same street as Raya. I don't know where you get that from. But he's a good Premier League goalkeeper, and we have no need whatsoever to risk this guy that we know nothing about, who's 6'10" or whatever he is. We don't know if he can get down or not. We know nothing about him. You've seen him play one game in a cup game against a very poor opposition on the night.
Oh, I won't agree with that. Yeah.
Okay,
He played excellent in that game.
more than that.
No, they played a full strength team, man. We played
They
a
played a
weak
full
team.
strength team. That doesn't mean that they peppered the goal with
Yeah, they
shots.
did. Some of the
They
saves he
did.
made that
They
game
did.
were brilliant.
And we did. We did.
I don't want to
discuss it. I'm not interested in arguing tonight because, like I say, I'm bored shitless of this bloody stream, so I don't want to discuss it. I'll say my little bit, and then you lot can talk rubbish for the rest of it.
He swore there. He swore.
Yeah, well, he swore a few
Is any
times.
surprised when I get idiots interrupting with puerile points all the time?
That's pure.
Listen,
right.
I've been on the BBC, mate. I know how things work.
This is what
How
happens.
long did that take? An hour and 21 minutes.
It was the Arsenal bit that upset him, wasn't it? Criticising his heroes.
Brilliant.
Oh,
All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. To
I've
the
been dying to
midfield.
find a way to get that in all night.
Let's move on to the midfield, guys. We're 14 likes away from 200k, from 200 likes. Get your jobs done. Get your jobs done. Make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to. I want to now talk about this midfield. Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White in that 8-8 pivot. I thought I think that's Morgan Gibbs-White's best game this season by a long mile. I thought he played this deep lying quarterback style position, pinging the balls out. He did still do those stupid pirouettes on the edge of the box, but he got away with them. But had he not, I would have freaking ripped him a new one. But are we now fully convinced? I want to focus on Morgan Gibbs-White. Is he now an 8? For everyone on the panel, whose turn is it to go first?
I just want to say something quickly because I only want to say a little bit because I've criticised Morgan Gibbs-White quite a lot recently, and I think the last couple of games, and you know when I thought at first because the stupid commentator said he was going to be banned, I was really, really disappointed. So that shows you how he's gone up in my estimation. Like if he can play like this, and I do agree, a deeper role suits him better in my opinion. If he can continue like this, we've got some player there. That's what we want to see. I don't criticise players because I don't like them. I criticise them because I'm disappointed in them. And I've not been disappointed in MGW. And I'm really pleased it will be available for the Spurs match because I think he can have a field day against them. So there, that's me a little bit.
And can we ask Rob to make a formal apology because Rob suggested last stream that Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White should basically be a 10, as in they shouldn't be on the pitch at the same time. That either MGW or Anderson should start in the 10, and then one of them should be a sub. And once again, as is the last 24 months, Rob has again been proved wrong.
No, you've made that up. That's not what I said.
I haven't. That's exactly what you said.
No, actually,
fair to Rob, he was talking about when they were both injured, weren't you, Rob?
He thought they were both injured and they were fine. They started the next match.
All right, let's focus on the game and the performance.
Those made up.
Yeah. All right. So, what are you saying, Ez? Is he an 8?
But you said it's his best performance. It was definitely his most disciplined performance yesterday, and he was still influential. But you're right.
He was a bit of a 6. I get what Jeff's saying. He was playing deep lying. Yeah,
he was as deep as I've seen him, but he was disciplined in that position, and that's all I can really add to it. But working with Anderson, it worked well yesterday, mate. And I don't think I would have switched either of them out for anybody else in that formation yesterday. So again, all players being fit, I'd start with that against Spurs. I think that worked really well. Let's give it a few games, and I think Spurs is the right type of game. Certainly to have a back three, and if you're going to play two in front of them, give them a chance to build that a relationship in that deeper position. But he can still be influential, and that's what we need him to be. Yes, he is deeper. He's more. He's going to have to be more disciplined. He's going to have to cut out of a bit of those tricks and trades that he tries to do. But at the same time, unless you keep playing him in that position, he's not going to get any better. So, yeah, I agree, mate. Yesterday was fantastic from him, and he was disciplined. And let's see him in a couple more games and see if he can keep it up. But it was very promising yesterday, that's for sure.
Rob, you're shaking your head. What's going on?
Can I briefly go against the grain? So, me and David spent most of the first half screaming at the television, saying, pass, 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 every time he got the ball. So, look, overall, he had a good game, right? But he just because he got away with his little pirouettes on the edge of the box,
You're right.
I don't let him off. You know, it's like, look, they could have scored. Yeah, but they didn't. Yeah, but it's like he got robbed at least once. But once he gets the ball, he thinks, oh, I've got the ball. I've got to show all of my talent in this moment. It's like, no, just play a simple pass, for God's sake. So I felt like he was hanging on to the ball for too long, but he always looks good on the highlights. Every time he watches highlights, he's involved in the build-up to everything good that we do. So it's difficult to see how we would manage without him. But if he could just cut that out, and the only thing I would say is, look, the most important thing to him seems to be playing for England, right? If he can do better in a deeper role, he's more likely to get into that thing because he's not going to get ahead of Bellingham. Right?
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know how, after one of his best games of the season, you can still sit here with an agenda and criticize him like that. He was fantastic.
No. It was one of his best games this season. Hang on, Rob. It was one of his best games this season. He's been rubbish this season. It was one of his best games this season. But I do agree with Rob. The first half, he wasn't good. And I can remember at least 2 occasions where he did little pirouettes and the ball bounced off his heel. It actually went to one of our players, but that was a fluke.
He got away with it.
He won man of the match in the ground, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh, man, he always wins the man of the match. Even when he's not playing, he wins man of the match. Come on.
I'm pretty sure he won man of the match.
No, Murillo got man of the match yesterday.
Murillo was a different class.
It's done by a commentator.
It's a sponsor.
Rob's a commentator. He never gives Morgan Gibbs White praise. Have you ever? When was the last time you heard Rob praise Morgan Gibbs White?
Why are you going at Rob? Rob's literally
He's trying. It's not working.
Rob and Ant, they both had an agenda all season against MGW.
Stop using that word, man. Come on, let's move on, man. It's so childish now. Come on.
But look, the point I want to actually talk about is that now our best midfield 2 pairing? Because Dominguez was suspended. Who else got suspended yesterday? Someone else did.
Just Dominguez, I think.
Just Dominguez. Okay, because the other one was Yates, who was on 4, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So would you go with that against Spurs? That midfield 2?
Sorry, did you say my name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry. Against Spurs, definitely. Yeah, because Dominguez is out anyway, and I'm not bringing Yates in for MGW or Anderson because Spurs are open. Spurs are open for business, baby. You know.
And would you make any changes to that starting lineup?
If you want the midfield, it's yours. If you want us to abandon the defense and sit on the halfway line, go and have your way with us. Spurs are there for the taking.
And would you make any changes to that starting lineup or that formation for the Spurs game?
No, not for Spurs. I wouldn't. No.
Would anybody consider playing Taiwo instead of Wood in that game?
Yes.
That's the only change.
No way.
That's the only change I'd make.
I would. Say why.
There's no reason to believe that Taiwo is going to make any sort of impression.
Yeah.
It's still that high line they're going to play. So we still need pacing behind, and I think Taiwo gives you that extra added
but
threat.
if you can't finish,
we need to score. Yeah, we need to score.
We're gonna have to rely on him for the next few games at least, until we get a backup or a replacement. I think you can't. I'm not gonna write Taiwo off. I've said this a million times. I'm not writing him off, but I think I'd go the same lineup, same formation, but I'd swap out Wood for Taiwo on Boxing Day, personally. Do you want to put that in the poll? Because I'd do that. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change the formation, and I wouldn't change the middle two that we're discussing. I wouldn't change it.
I don't think it'd be a very successful poll, as because when we had a Wood versus a 1 year poll, I think Wood got about 85% or something.
Why would you?
Yeah,
Why would
I
you
agree.
put a top scorer for someone who hasn't scored?
Because we got a lot of games. We got a lot of
Yeah,
games.
but we want to
We
win
don't
this
want him
one.
into the
I
ground.
never ever understand why people say rest him because we got
play
that.
like
game.
once
You got to
a
win
week.
this game first.
Yeah, they play like once a
can-
week. I'm sure they can manage.
Not this week, man.
Not
They're playing
this
3
week.
times this week.
Yeah, get over it. They're professional football players.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. Okay, love that formation.
No,
but,
I think you can do 3 games a week. I'm not saying you can do 3 games a week every week, like if you're in Europe. But I think just as like a one-off, I'm sure they could cope. I mean, look at it in the Championship. We literally had 2 games a week every week. You know what I mean? Players can do it, but players are the first ones to, if they can have an excuse, they'll give it you. So all this is in the mind. All these telling players they're tired. Oh, I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the tiredness. That's not my point. I'm talking about Wood wasn't a threat yesterday in that formation. That's the only downside of that formation for me. He wasn't. And Taiwo Wood still got that pace. Still got that pace.
He had some decent chances. He just missed them.
Yeah.
Not that many good chances.
He had that header and that.
Yeah, that header. He should have done better with a header.
Yeah.
That should have gone in either corner. It would have been a goal. But one that I think Chose set up for him early in the second half as well, that he skied. That was the only other chance. You know.
Yeah, but as you can't.
That's because we were defending for 80% of the game.
Yeah, we're not going to have this conversation again, are we? Like, Wood hasn't done much yet. Oh, he scored. Look, he's that kind of player, right? Just because you don't see him very often, you know.
Well, obviously.
We're talking about freshness and different dynamics, is what me and Ez are saying here.
I've not seen anything from Taiwo when he's come on.
Yeah.
I've not seen anything.
Briefly say, I think
haven't seen anything from Elanga all season until the last 2 games.
Taiwo's on the way out. Taiwo is on the way out, and we're going to make a striker signing in the January window, and it's going to be one of Ferguson or Jimenez or Omar Marmoush or someone of that profile, right? I can tell you now, Taiwo's on the way out, so I wouldn't.
He's on the way out.
I certainly wouldn't start
Yeah, as long as we've got somebody coming in. As long as we've got somebody coming in, I'm not bothered.
Oh yeah, we've got to have somebody coming in. Definitely.
Well,
I can't let him go without.
But
The talk is going to be Jimenez. Gunners.
Just before we go any further with super chats and stuff we got coming in, but yeah, going back on that crypto jinxing him with the shirt, Wood hasn't scored, but what we have seen and something that I've been wanting to see is we're seeing goals from other players now. Aina Elanga in this game, you know, so we have got threats. We've had Milenkovic scoring in the last week. Yeah, just it's an embarrassment, crypto. I don't know why he's showing it, but yeah, he's jinxed it. So whilst he isn't scoring, at least we are getting goals from other parts of the team, and we're being a threat in more than one position. So set pieces, obviously, with Milenkovic, we're a massive threat, and on the break, we've got, when you're playing wing backs, Aina's goal was perfect. One wing back, the other one's on the end of it. So yeah, I'm liking seeing other players chipping in and going.
I saw Wood making some tackles yesterday, and if you cast your mind back to last year, we've seen what a 1 year's defensive work is like. He gave the ball away against Liverpool in the 98th minute, right? So just before you write Wood off because he hasn't scored for about 3 or 4 games,
who's writing him off?
Who's writing him off?
Yeah.
Why does it go from one extreme to another? Next stream, you're going to be saying we had an agenda again.
You're missing what Ez is saying, and I tend to agree with him. What Nuno does, and he does better than probably any manager in the league, is he throws in something unexpected. Like I said to you, Thomas Frank was not expecting a 3-back formation because of what we did away to Liverpool, etc. He was expecting a 4, caught him off guard. What Ez is saying is, as a different dynamic against Spurs, and to keep Wood fresh, because we have 3 games and then loads coming up in January, you can't just rely on Wood. We can't. I
only want to rely on Wood for this one game, Wolfie. Spurs. I hate Spurs. We need to win. And if I had to have one of those 2 players have a chance, one chance in that game, I'm telling you 100%. I want it to be
110%.
I agree. But Spurs play with 2 at the back, man. 2 at the back.
They play with none at the back.
Basically, yeah. We have to win this one. Like, you lot know how much I
We
hate
have
Man
to.
U. It's like Man U's here and Spurs are just here, right? I hate them, right? We have to win, and we haven't beaten them since we've been back. And I can't let my brother hold that against me anymore. I
Have we
can't.
even had a
have
point
to
off
win
them?
this. Huh?
Have we even had a point off them in the league?
No,
I know we beat him in the
we've
cup.
lost
No,
all.
exactly. So
We've lost
this
all.
is
We
what
beat
has
him in
to
the
change.
cup. We beat him in the cup. That was it.
Yeah,
With
we beat him in the
Lingard
cup.
scoring.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't deal with it. I'm not used to losing
Yeah.
to Spurs. It's not in our DNA. I'm seriously
This is
vexed
our
about
time,
the Spurs
Wolfie.
thing.
Don't worry, my friend. This is our time.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
gonna
our
win.
You
time.
being
won,
confident makes me less confident, man.
No, we're
That's
gonna
the
win.
thing.
I always
That's-
predict.
You know, when I'm confident, we win. Be fair. It's like West Ham and that you say, what are you on about? Rubbish. We'll beat them. Yeah.
To be fair, me and
fine.
Ant are the best predictors on the Super Brew League, so we should basically
That's
be
true.
the ones to make
Oh,
the
you
prediction.
really? I think I've just gone past you, mate. So have a
Let's
look at
not
your
go
stats
off on a
again.
tangent. Let's not go off on a tangent.
No
Right.
way, Ez. No
On
way.
this
Surely.
striker
No,
thing.
past him. Sorry, Ant. Not
All right,
you.
let me just
Go
catch
on.
up on the super chat. Massive shout out to Phil with the $10. Says, "Happy Reds Christmas. Keep them all." He says, "Thank you so much, buddy."
Happy Trimbo,
Mate.
Phil.
Is that you? Is that you on Sanders Love? That's a cool picture. I love it. Thank you so much for the $10, Philly. Fraser with the 1 year anniversary. Thank you so much and happy anniversary, Fraser. Appreciate the support. And the legend Jordan with the 199 says, "Hey boys, hope you're all good. Come on, you Reds. Hope your mum's doing better as well, mate. How's your mum feeling? She's in hospital 6 months ago, so wasn't she? I hope she's all well and recovered." Okay.
A quick one before I forget, sorry. Because you mentioned anniversaries and stuff. We've just hit 22,000, and on Boxing Day will be our 2-year anniversary of the launch of FFTV, won't it? So thank you for guys, obviously, for everything you've done to help us get to that milestone, because that's amazing in that short space of time. But we've loved the journey, and let's hope we keep going. So, but thank you for everybody who supported the channel and keep doing
It's
so.
all from the guys watching. It's all from them. So shout out to all you lot, you crazy lot in the chat, especially in that live chat right now. All right, I gotta ask you
chat on
boys.
YouTube by far.
Yeah, it's not even a discussion, mate. They're like the right back Ainas of the YouTube world. These guys. They're the best in the world, man.
Indeed they are.
Right. I gotta ask you lot, right? We put a video out the other day on Jimenez and his links back with Forest. Because his dad's made all these hints that he's up for a move. Now, let me just clarify. Forest haven't approached him to say we want you back yet, but the signals are that he would want to move to Forest now. What are you lot saying to this? Like, we got to have a poll on this because I want to know what the chat think. By the way, 77% of you think Morgan Gibbs-White is an 8, 23 think he's a 10. Ben, open us up on this. Would you take Jimenez at Forest?
Personally, no, because I'm very of the mindset that if someone turns you down, especially in the way he did, you know, he said something like, "Oh, I want to go to a big club." Well, we couldn't get much bigger now because we're pretty much.
What he said is he didn't want to be in a relegation battle. I think it was.
Well, he made a mistake there, didn't he? I think no. If his heart wasn't 110% in it, then it's not 110% in it now. He'd only be using us to basically be a stepping stone into the Premier League. I wouldn't get him. He's not the right guy. If you don't want to be there, then sod off. We'll find someone else.
All right. Would you take Marmoush? Hottest striker, probably in Europe.
What did he reply when we tried to buy him?
He says no, he doesn't want to come.
He turned us down.
No, screw him.
Wow. All right. Okay.
It's a good job you're not in charge, man.
Rob, would you take Jimenez?
Well, I've listed the 3 players that I think we're going after. I think we're in a much stronger position that we were in the close season, right? Because we're anybody looking at should I make a move to Forest is thinking, I have a reasonable chance of playing in the Champions League next year. Whereas anyone looking at us at the start of the season would have been thinking, I've got a reasonable chance of playing in the Championship next year. So that's a big, big difference. We are now in a much stronger bargaining position. And if we've got, I like the position because if we've got a choice where we can basically shuttle backward and forward between those 3 players, what I didn't like about the previous negotiation with Jimenez is they were basically betting everything on signing him. Right? They had people going out on private jets and please come. we'll give you 100, 200, 300 a week, you know, and it's like, have some other irons in the fire now.
Yeah, but Rob, that's my point. They offered him everything and he still didn't want to come.
Yeah,
So
I know that, but I think you need to be able to. What's the quote from Pulp Fiction? You feel that? That's pride fucking with you, mate. You've got to put the pride away, right? Would he be a good player for Forest? If the answer is yes, just sign him. Just do the business. Everybody at this level has got an ego on them, right? And look, I think he has to actually eat some humble pie to come and play for us. If he's prepared to do that, you should just be asking, does he fit our system? Would he be a good player for us? Would he be pushing to get in ahead of Wood? If the answer is yes, why would you not sign him? Right?
He does fit the Nuno system like a glove.
That's exactly it. Yeah. That's where I want to go with it. I'm not bothered about him not wanting to join us at the time. Ant says this all the time, and I totally agree with him. If once you've seen the facts, you don't change your opinion, then you're an idiot. He's seen where we are now. He's seen what we're capable of, and he wants a piece of that. You can't blame him for wanting that. I haven't got a problem with him having turned us down in the summer, because then otherwise you are talking about the same problem with a player like Marmoush, and we know if he.
Yeah, but what was Marmoush's reason for turning us down?
Again, it was similar. It was similar to him. There wasn't much difference.
We didn't think we'd be fourth in the table now.
Exactly.
We didn't think that.
Me and Wolfie did. Me and Wolfie
And
did.
forget about teams abroad. You know, there's fan bases in England that still don't know what Forest are capable of, and don't know our history, and think we've just come out of nowhere. You know, this is a rich team. You know, and we talked about it as much as we could do on Football Focus. But if you look at the types of players that we need,
honestly, you, especially Laurie, mate, she wouldn't shut up about the 2 stars.
Yeah, but 100% what Wolfie said again, he fits our system. He fits Nuno's system perfectly. Now, if he wants to come here and we still want him, then no, I wouldn't turn him down.
Can I give you an example of what I mean?
No.
So we all
No.
We all know.
We're not interested. You're boring. Shut up.
Brendan Johnson, before he left, you could tell he wanted to go, and he started playing crap for us. He's a good player, but he started playing crap. Why? Because he no longer wanted to be there, and that'd be exactly the same for those 2 strikers.
When did he start playing crap?
Brendan Johnson's best period was before he went.
Exactly. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I want to get Ant's opinion on this.
Go on,
I want to get Ant's opinion on this. Would you take Jimenez?
I find it staggering, the immaturity, the ignorance, the total lack of awareness that some people have. Why listen, Jimenez is a Mexican playing in the Dutch league, right? Why would he want to come to a side that for 2 consecutive seasons had finished 16th and 17th, had points deductions, didn't look like they were going anywhere, right? Why on earth would he want to leave his Champions League club to come to relegation fodder, which is what we appear to be? He's not a Forest fan. He doesn't have to be a Forest fan. He just has to be a bloody good striker. And if he's a bloody good striker, I don't care if he pissed on our flag 2 years ago. The fact of the matter is... That's not swearing. Rob said the F word and you said nothing to him.
He did, I know.
I didn't hear it.
It was in quote.
Just to let you know,
we
could still finish 16th or 17th.
Right. Shut up, wanker. Right. So why would you hold it against a player that didn't want to come to a relegation potential threatened side? Whereas now, a few months later, he's looking at us and he's thinking, oh, I perhaps misjudged that. They actually look a good side. I could contribute to that and maybe even get into Europe with them, or certainly put myself in the shop window, because that's what 90% of players move for, right? You lot, I've told you about Murillo. You live in Cloud Cuckoo Land. If you think players only play for clubs because they love the club, they can grow to love the club.
Yeah,
they can grow to love the support. But when they go there, they don't give a shit about the club. Do you think Haaland cared about Manchester City? Really, do you? Do you think he was a big Man City fan?
Does anybody care about Manchester City?
Right.
Does Pep care about Man City?
Comments, Rob. Let's try and keep it a little semi-serious, right? Do you actually think that Haaland went there or De Bruyne went there because it's Man City? No.
And
they went
Haaland's
there for the project and they went there for money, right? And that's what footballers do. That's
but
what footballers do.
But
So
Haaland,
hang on.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You've been yapping all night. Hang on. So don't turn your back on a player because 6 months ago you didn't think we were a good prospect. We need a striker. If he comes in and scores goals, I don't care what he does and what he thinks.
The only concerns I would have over him is obviously he got injured early on in his spell with his club. So
is he a thigh injury this season? Kept him out about 6 weeks.
As long as he's fully fit from that and he's not going to be a disruptor in change room, because we have got a great camaraderie in there, and I don't think he is that type of player. I think he will want to come in and be. If he doesn't want to come in and play first team football, then I don't want him either. He needs to come in and want to be that first name on the team.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
He needs to be competition, you know. He's not. I don't want somebody making up the numbers. But
do you understand the point? The counterpoint to this, okay? I do agree. I don't care as long as he's scoring, yeah. But the counterpoint is he comes in with the attitude of, "Oh, I'm too big for this." Hold on, let me finish.
Exactly.
I'm talking about.
No, I'm looking at Remy's comment. It's weird.
Okay. I'm talking about like the off the field stuff, right? Because there will be players that come in with that attitude, "Oh, I'm better than all of you," and that bond needs to be there between the players. Could you see that being a problem? And my camera just overheated.
I still would kick out a player if he didn't give it all for the club. I don't get you. Once they're here, then you expect them to give everything for the club, of course. And anybody that didn't, they can move on.
He might have come in with that attitude if he'd signed at the start of the season, but I think if we sign him now, his attitude might be, how can I fit in and how can I get game time, rather than I'm too good to be here.
Even so, Rob, if he'd come in at the start of the season and he wasn't really keen, surely it would be in his best interest to perform as well as possible so he can move on to a bigger club later on.
Yeah, exactly. If we're a stepping stone, you're not going to be a stepping stone unless you're a success. So touching on what Crypto says, if he wants to use us as that would mean that he's done well. I've got no problem with that either.
You can't use Forest as a stepping stone when we're fourth in the league.
Why can't you?
Because you'd use someone like Man United who are all the way down the bottom. We're the top.
Just move on.
I do agree with him there, though. Okay.
I agree with him, but
I don't agree. Okay, but let me ask this final question on him. Sorry, I'm just cooling my camera down.
Yeah.
Would he come in as an automatic first choice? Let's just assume he comes in. Would he be straight away ahead of Wood? And I'm talking about from his perspective as well.
No way. No way. We know Chris Wood is part of the so-called leadership crew in the squad. There is no way you're going to drop your top for some guy who comes in. What?
That was under Cooper, that leadership team.
Yeah, but he is still a leader.
He's still
yeah, he is. But I mean that leadership team thing that Cooper.
I'm sorry, but there's no way. There's no way you just drop.
It's a squad game. What had happened is what I imagine would happen is he would come on, he'd sit on the bench, and then after 65, 70 minutes, you'd take Chris Wood off and put him on and see what he can do and build up his fitness.
You're missing the point, Anne.
Yeah, but
is he going to come to Forest, having rejected Forest in the summer, having, as you said, been playing Champions League? Is he going to agree to come as second fiddle? Is my point.
I think you would look at Chris Wood at 33 years old and think, yeah, I can
absolutely
get past him. If he doesn't want them, then we don't want him, do we? Simple. He's not prepared to fight for his place. But I think that would be his attitude. It'd be mine. If I was 20, how old are you? 25. If I was 25 and I was going to a club and there was a 33-year-old striker there who wasn't particularly pacey, I'd hope I'd back myself to displace him.
And do you know what I do? I do what Emery's done with John Duran this season. You know, started him off, bled him into the team as a sub. He came on, he made an impact, and now he's starting games, and you cannot drop him.
It's a perfect point. If we want to be this season's Villa, right, we need to have Chris Wood, and then we need to bring in someone better in the same way like they had Watkins, and now they've got Duran, and he's better, right? This is what we've got to be
straight in there, did he, Rob? He had to wait his time.
It's interesting because with Nuno, he really made us wait to see Jota, didn't he? And he didn't even pick Anderson first game. The only one that he's put straight in the team was Milenkovic. So I think
Murillo he put.
Well, he didn't. He didn't play him for Bournemouth, did he? Milenkovic came in the second.
No, he was because he was suspended from his Fiorentina.
Oh,
He picked Milenkovic as soon as he could. But with Anderson and with Jota, he's made us wait with those. Now, I do agree that you don't want people with a toxic attitude. We had the ultimate one in Pierre Van Hooijdonk. It doesn't get worse than that, right? And you've seen that there are some people at certain clubs, whether it's Rashford or Sancho or whatever, that can be disruptive. That said, I think you could bring the most toxic person into our dressing room, and I think they would be conditioned into being one of the gang, right? Because I think Nuno and I think the rest of the players would keep them in line.
Also, why are we talking about toxicity in the dressing room? Who says that Jimenez is toxic?
Yeah, we've got no toxicity in the dressing room. So,
but there's no reason to assume that Jimenez is toxic.
It might have been. No, I think if we, in a different world, if we'd bought him at the start of the season and it hadn't gone well and we'd been languishing in 17th place, it could have gone badly, right? But it's a different time now. It's a different. It's sliding doors. It's a parallel universe where we're somehow fourth in the league, and if he comes in, he realizes that he's got to make his case for a place in the team and not just automatically expect to be picked. Not when Chris Wood is like third in the goal scoring charts. He's got to realize that he can learn a few things from Chris Wood. So I don't know. It's not something that worries me now, but I can understand why you might have that reservation, given how things worked out last time we tried to sign him.
If he was so confident in his ability, then it wouldn't matter if we were 17th, 16th. He could come in there and think, "I'm going to take us at the table."
For someone that's so intelligent, you say some incredibly dumb things.
I tell you what, right? I tell you what, right?
Listen to these two drunks. This is like being in the pub.
I want to tell you something.
See, folks, this is how we are. When we
go out in the car park. Get out in the car park.
I want to tell you something.
I don't take any notice of it.
As a good judge of character, right? me and the people who have our business, we employ 12 people. In 5 years, one person has left. If someone wanted to join our company and said, I don't want to be there because for whatever reason, and then a year later they came back and said, I want to be with you. No, you're not the right person. Trust me, you'll be here a few years and you'll leave. You're not the right person.
I think Ben's a little drunk. His eyes look a little glazed.
I told you, I've had like 4 Copperbergs and a record league.
All right. Shout out to Jordan with the 15 months. You absolute legend. The beautiful crazy cat lady with 27 months. Thank you so much. And Sleep Cove with the 199 says, congratulations on 8 million views. Have we had 8 million views? I didn't even know that. Thank you so much for pointing that out. And thank you guys for watching us. Yeah. Okay.
We've gone viral.
Yeah.
Right, I just realized we started at 7:30, not usually 8, and we're nearly coming up to 2 hours. So there's plenty more.
Oh my word! How did that happen?
I don't know. How are there still well over 400 people in here listening to these drunkards?
You stop it.
So we'll wrap it up there. Listen, I want to say, if you're celebrating Christmas or not, or whatever you're doing over this holiday period, have a great holiday break. We will continue with the content still on a daily basis. We'll even have something out for you on Christmas Day as well. So make sure you're tuned in, but make sure you take a breather from football. Make sure you spend some time with your families, because there's a lot more. There's a lot more to life. But as things stand, Forest are 4th in the league.
I don't get what he means.
Who?
I keep saying that. There's more to life than football. I don't understand. Can you explain it to me afterwards? I don't understand what you mean.
Bro, like if someone's sick or something in your family, that takes priority over
sick. No, I thought you meant in joyful way.
No, I'm just saying, like, there's priority-wise sometimes.
I'm being very silly.
You're doing a crypto now, aren't you?
I'm doing a crypto, and I do regret it and apologize.
So have a great break. We will see you tomorrow anyway. I've got a Rivals reaction video tomorrow, and spoiler alert, there will be some Man U fan reactions on there. So I hope you guys will look forward to my
Tottenham hope as well. Some Tottenham reactions.
Of course, mate. Of course. Yeah.
I want to see expressions on there.
Did it end 6-3? Oh, we didn't give our predictions for the Spurs goals. We usually give a prediction.
Are we doing something before the Spurs game? I don't think we've got time, have we?
What day is it today?
All right, very
Mm.
quickly, chat. Get your predictions in the chat for the Spurs games. By the way, would you take Jimenez and Jan? 35% said yes, 44 said no, and 21 of you are on the fence. Never a foul. I was on there this morning because Cass was sick, so you can catch it on replay. I absolutely cooked Daps. It was hilarious. And I'll be on there tomorrow morning at 11 is what I think off the top of my head. So, right, let's get these Spurs predictions in. Let's go clockwise. So, Crypto, what are you saying?
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Spurs have got a good attack and a crap defense. I'm going to go 2-2.
There's a lot of 2-2s in the chat. Rob?
1-0 Forest.
1-0 Forest. Okay. Ez?
A bit like you with your lucky 0-0 predictions. I've gone 2-1 for Forest in most of them, and we've won the game, so I'm going to stick to 2-1, mate, just so we can get the win. I don't care how we get it, but we need to get that win.
We have to. We must.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to say 2-1, but I'm over for a crazy 4-0. But I'm going to say 2-1.
and I'm going to go Shark Horror 0-0.
0-0.
It's been working.
No, it won't be 0-0.
It's almost never going to be 0-0 without two sides, isn't it?
There's too many goals in both teams. It won't be 0-0.
You know when it actually ends up being 0-0 at some point, I'm gonna be so disappointed. Damn right, man, I really am.
You know,
all right.
Today when the Spurs Liverpool match started, the commentator said that 0-0 was 25-1. So I wonder what 0-0 tomorrow on Thursday would be.
All right. I mean, there's so much more to talk about, but we'll wrap it up there because the boys have got work and stuff tomorrow. But we'll be back tomorrow.
I've got work.
No work
got
until
work.
the 6th of Jan.
Well, all right for you, mate.
Well, I'm working over Christmas, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be on Never a Foul tomorrow at 11.
Ever again.
Reaction video. There'll be a predictor video over on the Footy Network, so make sure you subscribe there. Please hit the like button here. Enjoy your holiday. We will see you tomorrow. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.
You Reds. Merry Christmas.